The reason bad habits are so hard to break is the exact same reason they exist in the first place. They work quietly, efficiently, reliably. They give us something we actually need: a small moment of relief, a short feeling of comfort, a pause in the noise of the day. And until we understand what that something is, no amount of discipline is going to change very much. And I think that's the part worth understanding, not just why bad habits are hard to break, but why they feel so much like home.
Let's start with something the brain does that makes a lot of sense once you see it clearly. The brain runs on rewards. Not distant rewards, not hypothetical ones. Real rewards, immediate rewards. The kind you can feel in your body right now. And most of what we call bad habits are simply very efficient reward systems. Sugar, social media, cigarettes, a glass of wine after work. All of these things have one thing in common. They work fast. The brain gets what it is looking for within seconds. A small release of dopamine, a moment of relief, a brief feeling that something inside us has been satisfied.
Picture someone standing in front of an open fridge at 11 at night. They are not hungry. They know that. And yet they stand there anyway, looking at the shelves, searching for something without quite knowing what. Then they close the fridge, wait 30 seconds, and open it again. That is not appetite. That is the brain looking for something certain and immediate in a day that felt uncertain and draining.
Now compare that to the habits we are told are good for us. Exercise, reading, eating well, sleeping enough. These habits also reward us, but the reward arrives much later, weeks later, months later. Better health, clearer thinking, a calmer mind. But the brain, shaped by millions of years of survival, is not very impressed by promises about the future. It wants the berry now, before something else takes it. This is not weakness. It is simply biology doing what biology does. There is another reason bad habits feel comfortable, and it has to do with how the brain manages energy. The brain is expensive to run. It uses about 20% of the body's total energy, even though it is only a small part of our total weight. And so the brain does what any efficient system does. It tries to conserve energy. One way it does this is by turning repeated actions into automatic ones.
Think of a habit you have had for years. It is like a well-paved road inside your nervous system. Wide, smooth, easy to travel. You barely have to think. Your body already knows the way.
A new habit is different. It is like walking through a forest where no path exists yet. Every step requires attention. You have to think, push through resistance, stay deliberate. It is possible, but it costs effort.
And here is the quiet truth. The brain will almost always choose the smooth road, even if that road leads somewhere you did not intend to go. Not out of malice, simply because it prefers what is known. This is the part I find most worth sitting with. Most bad habits are not really about what they appear to be about. The person eating chips at midnight is not thinking about chips.
They might be thinking about a difficult conversation, or the weight of a decision they have not made, or the quiet hum of anxiety that followed them through the day. The chips simply make that feeling a little quieter for a moment.
The person scrolling their phone at 2 in the morning is not looking for information. They are avoiding something, maybe loneliness, maybe the strange stillness of a night that feels too empty. The screen fills the silence, and for a moment, it feels like company. Bad habits are rarely about the thing itself. They are makeshift shelters, imperfect but familiar, ways of managing feelings we do not always have the energy to face directly. Understanding this changes how we see ourselves. We are not failing at self-control. We are trying, sometimes clumsily, to take care of ourselves. The instinct underneath is not wrong, only the method is.
There is one more thing that often goes unnoticed. The brain does not only dislike discomfort, it dislikes uncertainty even more. And bad habits offer something powerful: certainty. You know exactly how you will feel after an hour of gaming. You know what the first coffee of the morning will do. There is no risk, no possibility of disappointment. The result is guaranteed before you even begin.
Healthy change is different. It contains uncertainty. What if I try and it does not work? What if I change my habits and I still feel the same? What if the effort is not worth it? These questions sit quietly underneath our resistance, shaping our choices before we even notice them. A bad habit is often a certainty tax. We pay a price to our health, our time, our long-term well-being, in exchange for the comfort of knowing exactly what we will get. And for the brain, that trade often feels worth it.
So, what do we do with all of this? I do not think the answer is willpower. Or at least not willpower alone. Trying to force a habit to disappear can work for a while, but the need that habit was meeting is still there, still pressing, still looking for somewhere to go. What seems to work better is something quieter. Curiosity. Watch the habit without judgment. Just notice. What feeling appears right before the habit begins? That is usually where the real information is. Then slowly find something else that meets the same need with a little less cost. Not a perfect replacement, just a slightly better one. Something the brain can accept as a fair trade. Make the old habit a little harder to reach. Move the object, change the environment, create a little friction, and make the alternative just a little easier. Sometimes that small shift is enough. Not forever, just for today. And then again tomorrow. Because that is how new paths appear. Not through dramatic change, but through small choices, repeated quietly over time. A life shaped by small, better choices is almost always richer than a life spent waiting to become a different person.